Welcome back to the Unbiased Opinion, where everyone's opinion is biased, except ours. I'm Colin.
I'm Craig.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm Daniel.
And we just had the pleasure of seeing the newest Captain America movie, aptly named Captain America Brave New World. And right now, it has very mixed reviews. It holds a 6.1 out of 10 on IMDb, a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 42% on Metacritic. So all indications point to this movie being pretty mixed. So I'm going to start with myself. I thought it was honestly okay. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I don't like it. It was okay. I don't know what else to say. What did you guys think of Captain America: Brave New World?
Well, I kind of am in the same boat. Okay, towards like if 5 out of 10 is like perfectly average, I would lean more towards the 4 as opposed to a 6. Like not definitely more towards bad, but not
Yeah.
the worst thing in
Yeah.
the world.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's not as bad as I thought it would be. It's definitely okay at best.
So reading some of the user reviews, I thought I was going to be watching a train wreck. Everyone, I think for the first time, usually people downplay how bad these Marvel movies are. But I think this time it's the opposite. I think people were just a little more exaggerated. Because again, it's not good. It's not terrible. It's just okay.
See, I see a lot of extreme responses of people trying to say that it's really good to kind of counter the bad reviews, and people saying really bad reviews just to kind of hate on it, which granted it's worth hating on, but
So, like, what's so mind-boggling with how Rotten Tomatoes works, and I guess this is how, I guess the general critic response is that this has a rotten score, but Thor: Love and Thunder had a positive. Like, that's mind-blowing. I think that's still the worst Marvel movie ever.
oh, I want my money back from that still.
That was legitimately the worst Marvel movie I've ever seen. It was so bad, and how that got positive reviews is just beyond me. Like, if you compared this movie, Captain America, to that, this is easily way better.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is a competent movie.
Yeah.
You're not going to sit there and hate yourself or count down the minutes. It's just, I feel like this is going to be a movie that's just forgotten in time. You're like, yeah, it was there, it happened.
Well, like most of the Phase 4 and 5 movies, you kind of forget they exist.
I feel like the other ones were worse, where they're kind of more memorable for how bad they messed up things. This kind of just didn't do anything so bad that it's like memorable in that way. I feel like it's just there.
Craig, what didn't you like about it?
Well, a lot, but
Yeah. Start cooking.
so should we talk about like the pre-production stuff or all the changes they made?
No, we'll do that after. Just tell me what you like and didn't like.
What I liked.
What you didn't like, because I know what you did. What you
Well,
did like was very small.
Well, let me try to think what I liked because what I didn't like, that's gonna be most of the review.
Okay, all right, all right.
I mean, what did I like? Ooh,
I don't know. That's why I asked you.
I have to come back to me on that one because I'm
Really?
really struggling to think of something.
Okay. This is an easy one. It was under 2 hours.
See, that it felt longer than that. This movie felt like it was 2.5 hours.
On paper, it's under 2 hours. It had definitely had a little bit of pacing issues, but it is 118 minutes, which is one of the shortest Marvel movies, I believe. I still think the longest is the Marvels, which was
Really?
it was 100.
I mean, the shortest.
Oh no, sorry, the shortest. Yes, yes. I think
Like,
it
how could
was.
it top Endgame?
I think it was 104 or 106 minutes with the ridiculous 10-minute Vietnam Wall memorial credits of people's names. So that movie's probably like 90 minutes realistically.
Jeez.
But I think that was a positive. This was under 2 hours, so and I did fall asleep watching this. I won't lie. I think I fell asleep for a little bit.
I'm surprised Craig stayed awake.
Yeah, this is spreading fake news about my ability to stay awake during movies. I stay awake towards like tons of bad stuff. It's like the interesting stuff I fall asleep
I'm
to
surprised
movies.
I was awake during Venom 3 than this. Like, this. I fell asleep towards the end though, and there's obviously going to be spoilers that should be known. There's a part where Sam meets Bucky at the end, and they're just talking, and then I've Craig had to tell me what happened because apparently that little girl, Shira Haas is the actress's name. Her name is Sabra in the movie, I think. Did they even say her name in the movie?
So they never said her superhero name. They just said her, I guess, real comic character name is Ruth Bat Saroff.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
Well, that's another thing that we'll talk about the pre-production
Yeah.
stuff.
Ruth. Oh, yeah, she is briefly seen wearing a suit that resembles the comic book character's white and blue costume, but is partly concealed under a jacket. Yeah.
I have no idea. Don't care.
So, what was I going to say? before I got distracted. Oh, she was. Did you say she was hitting on Bucky? And I fell asleep and I missed that cringy
Yes, she
interaction.
made a comment saying, like, "Yes, he's good looking, blah blah blah," and Falcon responds saying that he's 110 years old. So this takes place in 19 or not 19, 2027.
Right. Oh, canonically, he is 1917 was born in?
Yes.
Okay. So another positive was there wasn't as many forced humor gags or jokes as other Marvel entries.
Yeah.
You had the quips from Sam Wilson, but I guess
Especially Falcon 2, whatever that guy's name
yeah,
is.
but once he got sidelined, there wasn't really any jokes. I thought that was good. Usually, I'm so used to the Marvel burden of so many misses of jokes. They're just throwing stuff at the wall, but they're throwing it at the sky, so they're not hitting anything. Their jokes recently have been so terrible. So this one didn't have that kind of issue.
Well, it did. You fell asleep during the
Well,
scene where
mostly.
yeah, I kind of like the part leading up to it. It was probably the best scene in the movie where Bucky, Falcon 2 he blew up a bomb in his face and then he got hurt. Falcon was like, "Oh, am I doing a good job? Am I really the worthy Captain America successor?" Blah blah blah. And Bucky was trying to give him a pep talk. And then, of course, they undercut it with a joke saying, apparently Bucky's running for Congress.
Hmm.
I'll get to
Yeah.
that later, but he's running for Congress. He goes, "Did your speechwriters tell you to say that?" And he said, "Yeah, they did. They do a good job." Ha ha ha. It's like, couldn't you just speak from the heart and be nice? Like, why do you have to undercut it with a joke? It's not even
Yeah.
funny.
I think Marvel has like a quota where they need joke to get cheap laugh from audience every 2.5 minutes.
I don't
It
think it's
feels like.
that. I don't think they can be sincere. There's no dramatic moments where people could just try to be nice to each other and
Well, I think
just
it's like
be emotional.
it's definitely like a Marvel thing.
Oh yeah, it is. I mean, it's been around since the Avengers. Like, was it what's his name, Whedon and James Gunn? They both kind of started that.
It was mostly Whedon. He started it, and then Gunn took it to a whole nother direction. for
It's just,
for good or
it's,
worse.
it's hard to watch. I mean, there are instances where maybe you could turn it into a joke. Some things could be funny. Obviously, we're not against humor. We love comedy movies. It's just you can't undercut these serious moments because coincidentally, I know we'll talk about this next. We just watched the last part of Cobra Kai. They would not undercut any emotional moment with a joke.
That's
It
what
made
good
it more
storytelling
impactful.
is, and that's how you get those great moments between characters where you let the moment play out. You don't have any stupid joke from an unfunny scriptwriter ruin the mood.
Are we sure between scriptwriters anymore? Like, are they just like plugging stuff into Chat GPT now? I mean, with the way these things are now.
These are hack writers because you could tell. I wrote down my phone, so in the very beginning. Oh, I guess I should emphasize and say this, and I don't want to see any comments saying, "Oh, you didn't do your due diligence and watch all the Marvel stuff." I don't think any of us have seen Captain Falcon, or no, not Captain Falcon, Winter Soldier and Falcon show. I don't think none of us have seen that, and
I've seen most of the spoilers and plot points, so I could at least talk
okay.
somewhat about it.
I had zero desire to see it. I could care less about Winter Soldier and Falcon. And no, I'm not going to ever
Most of
watch
America
that.
didn't watch it.
Yeah, well, exactly. So I wrote down because in the beginning, apparently, in between that show and this movie, you said, Craig, that Falcon helped the Wakandans. So in the show, so they gifted him vibranium wings, and then in the beginning, Falcon is, or I guess Captain America is flying around on some mission.
It's still Falcon. I'm never
Captain
going to call him
Falcon
Captain.
was flying around on some mission.
No, do not disrespect
Shut
Captain
up.
Falcon like that.
And then there's two guys
I don't
behind.
think there's a captain rank in the Air
There's
Force.
two guys behind a monitor, and they're talking, and one guy said, "Whoa, when did he get that?" And then the guy who turns out to be Falcon, I thought he was just some grunt. He says, "It was a gift from the Wakandans. They almost put it in vibranium gift wrap or something." And
No,
big
even the
eye
gift
roll.
wrap was vibrating.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Big eye roll, bad moment, bad joke, and bad dialogue too.
I just feel like you don't even need to touch on that.
Yeah, you don't have to mention it. He just has a new suit. Cool.
Especially now that you've had two Black Panther movies, and Black Panther has been in, three other movies? Civil War, and Endgame, and Infinity War. Like, you kind of get the concept of how the vibranium armor works at this point. You don't need to do a stupid joke.
I was mistaken. The captain is a rank in the Air Force.
All right, whatever. I absolutely despise, and this has been a big problem with a lot of the new Marvel movies, is the stupid helmet the nanotech helmet that appears out of nowhere. It always
This
looks
is like a
so-
10-year-old problem.
Yeah, I know. It looks still bad 10 years later. It looks abysmal.
Yeah. Well, the best part is he has it on, and he only uses it for flight scenes. Why is he not just wearing that helmet the whole time? Especially when you're getting shot at. Like, I get you have the shield and the wings. What is the point of having the helmet then?
Well, especially since he never had it in previous movies where he'd be flying high up in the air. He never had the helmet. Now he needs the helmet.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, now,
it makes
well, I mean,
sense to have. It's just if you didn't have
yeah,
it before, why now?
well, he can fly at Mach speed.
Oh my God, the
Apparently.
opening scene where he was flying like Iron Man and landed like
Well, the
Iron
best,
Man.
And he didn't
I was
like,
break
like,
his
oh man,
legs.
yeah, he
you
didn't.
don't
No,
have you don't have the
he didn't even. Not even he break his legs. There was no debris. Nothing. He just like a feather touched the ground, coming in at Mach speed. Come on.
I mean, it's even bad when Iron Man does it because of the physics, but he doesn't have the excuse of the Iron Man suit. He just literally lands on his legs, breaking, shattering every single bone in his body, like his organs liquefying.
Yeah, and they made it to a point to tell you that he does not have any super soldier serum. So that would he would die just doing that. He would just die.
I wish it'd be funny if the movie just ended right there. Like he goes to land, just
Oh,
dies, and
like
then
my Morbius situation
Yeah.
scenario.
And just for like an additional 5 minutes, it's just the goons, the nameless goons, just looking around at each other like, what?
Was that a drone strike? Like, why is
Like,
there blood everywhere?
one that just like puts a bullet in his body and they just walk around. And then for the next, let's say the first sequence is 5 minutes long. For the next 113 minutes, it's just his body and it starts to like slowly rot. You see the beginnings of flies going to it and like starting to eat it, and it decomposes.
Jesus.
That'd be funny, just on the body the rest of the movie.
Yeah, then Gustavo Fring gets away with it.
Yes. So I think those are my only positives.
Um,
It was short and not as many jokes as I
would say-
normally would expect from such
I would
a Marvel endeavor.
I'd say the only like scene I enjoyed was maybe the between the Japanese the naval situation, them trying to like take down the missiles and the planes. It's probably the only scene I enjoyed in this movie. The rest, I that was probably the only one for me.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the
That was-
worst thing. I'm just so tuned out with this movie. I
Oh,
couldn't get.
Yeah, I didn't
past
really
it.
care. I will say,
I just thought the scene was well done. There's actually tension. There's no quip. The new Falcon actually gets hurt. There's actually stakes, and then plus Ross is battling, not becoming the Red Hulk. The leader's taunting him. I just thought that scene. I was like, oh wow. I just thought the scene was actually well executed. It was probably the only positive I would say for me.
I was gonna say my junk ears did perk up again during the Red Hulk rampage at the end. I was falling asleep, and at that point, like it happens at the very end of the movie.
Oh, that was
I-
not a positive.
I woke up. And because it was so like schlocky, I think
I mean,
that's why I enjoyed it. Him just
Well, the whole thing.
rampaging.
Well, it just looked bad though. The whole thing. I just thought that the CGI was horrible, especially at the end when he's trying to talk him down. Yeah, he's trying to talk him down with the cherry blossoms, and you see it's looked out of focus. It just looked like he was standing in front of a green screen. I mean, clear. I know he was, but
'Cause he
like,
was.
but the CGI. But it looks so bad.
The best was when he was turning back into Ross. You could tell they didn't have the budget for it because
Oh, they showed the
cut to-
shadow.
yeah, they showed the shadow, which is always a cheap shot to save for money.
Yeah, and also too that was really bad. Hey, big guy, budget's getting real low. But also the entire shot of when they go to the cherry blossoms and they're going through the trees, it looked like a video game. It looked like a big long cutscene for a video game. That entire shot, like him flying in the Red Hulk, it just looked horrible.
Because
It
Marvel
was
has been
horrible.
striking out lately
Yeah.
with their CGI.
Yeah, yeah.
It would help if they didn't reshoot movies about 3 months
I
delay.
Well, I
go
guess
back,
that'd be
go
a good
back, go.
segue.
Oh, I was gonna say, go back and look at 2008 Hulk, the scene where he's rampaging on the campus, and I guarantee you that looks so much better than this. And that's almost 20 years apart.
I would say the Hulk looked kind of bad in that movie. Like you compare 2008 Hulk to 2012.
I mean,
Hulk.
or-
technology got better. I mean,
But I still think that it looks better because they're actually shooting on location.
well,
like-
yeah, that's obvious. That's like a
And
fundamental.
And I would say the 2012 Hulk from Avengers looks way better than this.
Oh yeah, obviously.
Especially the scene where he was on the helicarrier and he goes after Widow and then him and Thor fight. He looked really good. The fact that that is over a decade old, and then even the 2008 Hulk, I would say either looks. The fact that they're even comparable is
concerning.
horrible. Yeah.
Well, Craig, you want to talk about the extensive reshoots that this film went through.
yes, because the director has come out and said that they were only standard reshoots. That's obviously a lie.
Craig, before you cook, let me just say, Julius Ona, the director, is a liar. Continue.
Oh, 100% a liar. You can try to sue me for that. He is 100% a liar. We know for a fact they went through extensive reshoots.
Yes, and I doubt that the budget is 180 million. That or that 180 million figure included all the reshoots. I highly doubt that. Because I believe it said the Marvels cost like 300 million with all their reshoots and whatnot. So clearly Marvel has not learned from all their production issues and their constant rewrites and reshoots. They have not learned anything. Continue, Craig. Start cooking.
I know they went through extensive reshoots because they were set photos taking of other members of the Serpent Society who were supposed to be the leaders, and they replaced them with Gustavo Fring. I think it was
Yeah.
Diamondback and Cobra and the other members. They replaced them with Gustavo. He was obviously in the reshoot, so
Well,
again,
yeah, his name is in the movie. I don't remember what it was.
I mean, he's playing
Sidewinder.
Gustavo. Like everything he's in now, he plays the same
Yeah,
character,
let's
right?
just call him Sidewinder. That was the
They-
most shocking thing, was that he was entirely in the reshoots. He was not in the original cut of the movie at all.
So again, that's when they say we didn't do much reshoots. That's obviously a lie. I mean, right there, you change one of the major villains in the movie.
That changed at the beginning of the movie.
Well, change a couple scenes, then they interrogate him. He tries to assassinate Sam in his truck.
Yeah, and there's some explosions with real cars in that scene. So adding him changed a lot. And you said also they changed, or they reshoot the scenes with the leader because test audiences reacted negatively to the practical design that was apparently more comic book accurate.
Yeah, I don't. This is why. Why do you? I don't know. They have test audiences. That it's probably to maximize profit and has all these graphs and stuff. But it's a comic book design. I mean, what do you expect?
Yeah, he
That's
looks
the
like a
thing.
mushroom in this movie, like some CGI mushroom.
Well, it's because I guess it's his brain growing out of his skull.
It looks like broccoli, kind of. I was disgusted.
He looks
The
like he
broccoli
belongs.
boy haircut.
Yeah.
On God, we ending
Awesome.
this treaty. But no cap, no pun intended. But he looked like he belonged in Fallout.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
looks like an actual mutant,
Yeah.
like a creature. What else, Craig? What else you got for me? What other things were reshot?
One thing was they had, I think, was a Sabra, whatever her name was. I think they were going to call her that as well, and have more. I think she was a mutant as well. That was going to be in the movie, but they cut all of that partly because of her Israeli connection. I think in the comics she was like an agent from Mossad and whatever. I know there's that controversy now, but they basically cut all that out because they didn't want the controversy.
Yeah, because
I
even
think-
the Wikipedia said that where she briefly wore her costume design as underneath a jacket. So any mention of that is gone in the movie. I believe he also said the fate of Ross was entirely different than what we got in the movie.
Yeah, they said there were some conflicting reports on it. They're saying he might have died at the finale. There's some saying he might have gone on the run, just like Bruce Banner. I think the one where he died is probably the most.
Because there's a
Real-
photo. There's a photo.
Yeah, there's a photo of Falcon, and apparently in that scene, again, these are reports and stuff, but they were saying at the funeral he asked out that I don't know what her name was. I even know what her role was.
Who?
Like the black woman. I don't know what her role was. In the
Oh,
movie.
she was Sam's like insider friend.
Yeah, but like, what position in the White House?
I have no idea. It looked like a personal aide or secretary. I don't know.
I don't know, but was she the head of the Secret Service? I don't know.
Let's see. I don't even know what
She
the
was
actress's
armed.
name was. Oh, she was just a Secret Service agent.
Oh, okay, so whatever. And there's some other things too. Leader mentioned that he had like Hulk bombs planted in people. I think he's going to turn Betty Ross into a Hulk. Amadeus Cho to set up like a World War Hulk film, which again you couldn't do because you don't have the rights to. I don't think Marvel doesn't have the rights to distribute Hulk movies, so I don't know why they would do that. That seems more fake, but I think another one was adamantium could absorb radiation because that's how Falcon beats him. They absorb the radiation out of the Hulk.
Really? They're going to use that in the movie or originally?
That's what these leaks said. I mean, who knows? But
Yeah, you got to take that with a grain of salt. But
yeah, and the last one was I think Amadeus Cho was going to have a scene in the movie, but they just cut him completely.
yeah, and did you say this, Craig? I don't remember. Maybe I'm losing it. But Gus, he replaced two people from the Serpent Society.
Yes,
Was it Diamondback and Copperhead or something?
I think it was. I'm seeing it's Cobra. I mean, it
Oh,
could be
Cobra.
Diamondback.
Cobra and Diamondback. Yeah.
Yeah.
They got replaced entirely during the reshoots.
And again, we know they were in the movie because we saw merchandise made for them. So, and that gets made, well in advance. So that's how you know there are extensive reshoots.
Yes.
That director, come at me, I dare you.
He probably won't.
Yeah, probably even like we don't get enough views to come at us.
So I also saw
He'll come up with a plan against you, Craig, but then they'll have to reshoot it.
I saw on the Wikipedia page that yes. Oh well, first off, before I get into what I saw on the Wikipedia page, So Harrison Ford replaced William Hurt, who did pass away in 2022. And they made a very, I guess, unintentionally tasteless joke about William Hurt's mustache and how Harrison Ford doesn't have one. And Sam says, "Oh, yeah, you shaved your mustache," and he says, "Yeah, they said lose the mustache or lose the election." And that was just such an odd joke.
Well, they said too, like, oh, we like the new look for you.
Yeah,
Uh, I don't know about
it
that
rubs me the
joke.
wrong way.
Man died, and he
Yeah,
appeared in I think 4 movies, so it's kind of tasteless.
it's not like
Yeah.
he decided to leave. Like, what's that guy's name?
Yeah.
Who the new War Machine replaced? Terrence Howard. It's not like him where he left and he was demanding a ridiculous amount of money. William Hurt
Wait.
unfortunately died and got replaced by Harrison Ford, and then they make that weird, like, tasteless
Yeah.
joke.
Yeah, like if Falcon was like, "Wow, you're looking healthier than last time I saw you."
Oh, yeah, because it
Well,
rubs you the
Mr.
wrong
President,
way.
looks like the old you died. You look reborn. And it
I guess we
says
should talk
also.
about.
Oh, sorry, Craig. Real quick. Going back to what I was saying earlier about the Wikipedia thing I just saw. It said that before William Hurt died, Marvel Studios informed Hurt of their plans to have Ross become the Red Hulk, and he had been eager to portray that aspect of the character. That's tough.
I mean,
Yeah.
let's be honest. It's not like you'd have to do much. Just
Yeah, but,
just
you
steal
know.
your likeness for the CGI monster.
I guess at this point at that point he was in the MCU since the very beginning. He was in the second Marvel MCU movie ever. So it would have been cool, but no. I thought Harrison Ford was okay in the movie.
To me, just he didn't. I know they recasted him, but it just felt like
It-
he was playing a
it-
completely different character.
I was just gonna say that to Craig. That was one of my biggest issues with this movie was how not that I like Red Hulk, but if you're actually going to do him right instead of making him this political figure and then oddly try to make him sympathetic.
That was what they were doing weirdly with Ross, and as Craig said with the interview, or not the interviews, with the reshoots, he originally wasn't as sympathetic as he was in the movie, right?
I think that was another thing, another change added. I think he was less sympathetic.
Because you said either the original ending was either he died, and we have that set photo of Sam at a funeral, or he went on the run like Banner, and I thought that would have been more poetic, where he doesn't get a clean slate. He becomes the animal that he hunted mercilessly for so many years. I thought that'd be better.
And the whole thing of him being the Red Hulk, he also had control over himself. He became the Hulk with a mind, essentially.
Could he
Like-
talk like as Red Hulk in the comics?
Yeah, he
Mhm.
Is he
could.
sentient?
Yeah, he was intelligent. That's what made him
Oh,
even
really?
more dangerous. That's why this version of the Red Hulk was bad, because if you're gonna at least first off, you shouldn't be having Captain America with Hulk villains, which makes no sense.
Steve
But-
wasn't in this movie.
Sorry. Shouldn't have Falcon fighting Hulk villains. But the thing with the Red Hulk, that's the whole he became that to try to like kill him. So him being sympathetic or him not even having control over himself makes it even dumber. He had full control of himself.
Well, also, we never liked the Red Hulk character to begin with, which doesn't really help either.
Lobe Force.
Well, if you want to get into the history of the Red Hulk real quickly, because this is around the time I think we all got into comics a bit more, and this is when the Red Hulk came out. Originally, we didn't know his identity. It was just some like random Red Hulk running
Yeah.
around beating people up. Like I think he bashed Thor's face with Mjolnir. I think he stole the Silver
Oh, that was
Surfer's
the Lobe
surfboard.
Force thing.
Yeah, well, yeah, he was a power fantasy.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah, just like beating everybody up
By
that came
Jeff
across
Loeb.
him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much everybody hates that. But then they revealed his identity as Ross. But for some reason, when he transformed from Ross to Rolk, he never got the mustache disappeared. We don't know why.
He had black hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't. Is Ross in the comics? He has white hair too, right?
Yeah, he was old and he had the
Yeah.
stash.
Yeah.
But we never liked Red Hulk because, granted, all the beating up all of our favorite heroes for no reason wasn't great. But it doesn't really, I think, help him as a villain. His villain is like the U.S. military hunting the Hulk and constantly hounding him, becoming a threat, maybe more politically to the heroes, or using the U.S. military. Him becoming another supervillain doesn't really, I don't know, change the dynamic completely. I think ruins it because he already has other villains like the Abomination and some. I don't have a lot of Hulk's villains off the top of my head because he doesn't have
The
the great ones.
absorbing man.
Yeah, but he has other, was a Bi-Beast and other generic villains.
Is A-Bomb a Hulk villain or is he X-Men?
No, A-Bomb
That's,
was
what's a
Rick.
Rick
That was
Jones?
Rick
Rick
Jones.
Jones,
That was
yeah.
Rick Jones. That
Oh,
was Rick Jones became him. But he wasn't a villain. He
Oh,
actually was
okay.
helping Hulk. I think he was trying to stop a Red Hulk.
But the point is, Hulk has other, brute villains. I think he fights the Juggernaut as well. So he's got other villains that he could fight physically. Adding Red Hulk to another roster of generic, strong people punching each other in the face doesn't really change anything. Him being the threat, constantly hunting him using the U.S. military, keeping on the run, that was more a better villain for him, more
And that
dramatic.
was way better.
It was
Not
better, and
yeah.
plus, it's his, almost father-in-law, the father of his love interest. So there's drama, there's more potential for better stories, and they ruined it by turning him to a generic monster.
Yeah. So
So
do you want to talk about the leader's plan? Yeah, the leader's plan.
I didn't think it made any for a guy who's supposed to be able to do like a million calculations. It made no sense at all whatsoever.
I know. I thought that was so stupid that he gets thwarted by Falcon.
Well, not even
Like,
that. He wanted to ruin Ross, but at the very end of the movie, through his own actions and his own schemes, he'd made Ross more highly regarded. Because they said Ross took full responsibility for his actions, and his daughter is now talking to him, which is what he all really wanted from the beginning of the movie. He wanted, oh, and the accord, the treaty he wanted signed, got signed, and it has his name on in the title of the thing he wanted. He got Ross directly, indirectly. He got what he wanted in this movie, all because of the leader.
Well, it just doesn't make sense if he's trying to ruin him. Why do you again give him basically everything he wanted? And the steps to take him down. Apparently, if it was so easy for the leader to escape this whole time, why didn't he just do it?
I don't. That's a good question.
I mean, if he can somehow mind control people by flashing a bunch of lights in their face, I mean, why didn't he escape 20 years ago? Or,
Yeah, I didn't
whatever.
understand how that process worked. So, do you have to have like a room temperature IQ to be manipulated, or you just flash a certain light at people and you can control them? Like, how does that work?
I don't know. I
Why
see.
not control a drone with giant LED lights with that light and fly it over streets of crowded cities?
But again, remember when Falcon 2, he played some of the music in a room full of people and no one got affected? So I
Yeah.
don't understand how it really worked.
Well, because I guess they weren't brainwashed at that point. That's how they made sure it was cleared.
But how does he brainwash people? He's at some secure facility. Are people willingly going to him to get brainwashed?
yeah, because it said he was studying their genetic makeup to like, subconsciously mind control them. Like, wait, what? I don't know what the whole thing was or how he was getting to these people. Was he going to them in their sleep?
He's so
Guys-
smart he can infiltrate dreams.
Because like I understand the other guy. What was his name? The other super soldier.
Oh, Isaiah Bradley.
I understand him, especially because he said he was experimented on for years or whatever while he was in prison. That's easy. He like hacks into a database, finds some things on him. That's plausible. But everyone else, because my first thing was if he was able to get to Isaiah, I immediately thought of Bucky, where key things are setting off. So it was instilled in them when they were experimented on. When everyone else started acting up in that scene where he just gets brain, 5 other people start shooting. I was like, are they all super soldiers? That was
Well,
my first thought. I was like, were they all super soldiers?
I would thought maybe not super soldier, but I thought maybe these people were experimented on and have some sort of brainwashing. And
That's what I
apparently
thought.
anybody can get it controlled. So why didn't he just control the Falcon?
Well, Craig, and Daniel, you guys are missing the most egregious part that the leader messed up on. Before he goes to Sam and essentially gets himself arrested, he had this device that he used on one of Sam's friends that was able to. So Sam gives his friend the pills that Ross has been taking, and his friend says, "Yeah, I know someone who can look into the composition of this or whatever." So later on, when that guy, I forget his name, he's about to call Sam. The leader shows up with the device that gives him like a heart attack or blows up his insides. And the leader, being as smart as he is, never decided to use that against anybody else in the movie, especially Sam. An unarmed Sam at the end. He didn't want to use that against him for
Not just
reasons.
him, like anybody. He could have used that against anybody.
He could have used that against Ross. Because
He
Ross
lit-
visited
he-
the leader early in the logbooks in the movie, they said.
I mean, he had Falcon trapped in his military base. He could just flick that thing and just killed him right there. Because he put that, I don't know, whatever device that, like, I don't know, shot stuff over him and used a shield to block it. Just, flick the switch to stop his heart and then walk away.
For a smart guy, Craig, this guy's pretty dumb.
I mean, he might have been like the dumbest smart guy I've ever seen. Because I'm serious, nothing about his plan made sense at all whatsoever.
Does he
I'm really
rival
trying to
Jimmy
understand.
Neutron saying, that's what I said.
Okay, sodium chloride.
Nah, dude, it's salt. Actually, it speaks more volumes to you being dumber for saying the scientific names of simple words. I'm disappointed in you. Remember that whole thread?
Oh, you own Jimmy.
Yeah. I'm disappointed in you, Jimmy. You're better than that, and you know it. That's like the leader, though. You expect him to be smarter, but he's just really dumb.
Yeah. Well, again, they wasted another villain. Like, he could make impossible calculations. It's like, all he's doing is making everything, it's just it's just probability. He didn't do anything that was so advanced. It was just logical. Alright, if I do this, they're probably going to do this. It wasn't anything impressive, except apparently we played this old 1940s song and it sends everyone cuckoo.
I just nothing made sense, and I don't know why. Even Ross's plan to have him be your own personal think tank. For some guy so smart, don't you think he would betray you?
Does that look like any kind of trustworthy guy, the leader?
Yeah, he keeps you locked up for a decade,
Some-
and
Some fungus-looking dude.
Yeah. Looks like a broccoli boy.
he's
I don't think
busting
he's in any of
leader.
the trailers, so I can't even show him or show our audience what he looks like, because I think that'd be copyrighted.
Well, don't worry, he's bussing.
Yeah, because that was just his plan made no sense really in the movie.
And it's such a shame too, because he's somebody who is capable of doing a lot more with the character. Eh, And they unfortunately have him be this incompetent idiot who's supposed to be a genius.
I
Yeah,
think it
he-
would have
like
been
that-
better if they just removed Red Hulk entirely from the movie and just focused on the leader.
I think it would have just been better that Red Hulk was never created ever, but
Well, yeah, that too, but at least for the movie, if you want to have Ross in it, sure, whatever, but don't do the Red Hulk.
well, I just think it's stupid making Ross become this political figure.
Well, he really
he's
was in
president.
Civil War.
Well, I know, but it goes away from what he was set up as. He really is only the Hulk villain. Just make him. You don't have to make him sympathetic like he's actually trying to change.
Another thing I was thinking about too was this movie is not really a Falcon movie. It's really the Red Hulk's movie. He's more so the main character.
Another thing, I was like, Harrison Ford, they really went heavy in on him to carry the movie.
Yeah, use him while he's still alive. This movie really felt more like a Rolk or Thunderbolt Ross movie than a Falcon movie. I know Falcon was technically the main hero, his name's in the title, blah, blah,
Mhm.
blah. But it really felt that Ross was the main character. Because if you
yeah.
look at the Falcon Winter Soldier show, the whole arc was, am I worthy to be Steve Rogers, blah, blah, blah. What does that mean, blah, blah, blah. And then in the end, he kind of accepts being Captain America. And here it's kind of the same thing. Am I worthy to be Captain America, blah, blah. Yeah, you are, whatever. Move on.
Well, also, Falcon in this movie doesn't have a character. He is, I guess, he is running into the same problem that someone, let's say, Black Panther has, where they're just perfect characters. So there is no drama, they don't mess up, there's no struggle. The only struggle he goes through is a physical one at the end when he's fighting this giant mutant red man. Other than that, though, there's no character depth, there's no character drama. He's Mr. Perfect, and he's a boring protagonist. He worked in the other movies because he's a side character.
Yeah.
But as a leading man, no shot against Anthony Mackie. He's a good actor, I think. He's fine. It's his character and what he's given with. He plays a very boring character.
Yeah.
Not much you can do.
Well,
Yeah,
no
they
matter,
made
no
us-
matter
because-
acting can save that.
I think there could have been something for him if they, instead of his Falcon 2 being a hotshot and going to stop the missile, like maybe if Falcon messed up there, if he maybe gave the wrong order or he messed up, and then that's where it's like, oh, am I really worthy being Cap? Or like there was no flaw for him.
Yeah, I agree.
Or
He
no.
should have been the one that messed up because everyone's keeping their eyes on him. He is the new Captain America, so people are going to look up to him. So if he messes up, how can he come back from that? And how can he can regain the public's trust so they can always have their faith in him? Stuff like that.
And another thing that he keeps talking about, I wish I took the super soldier serum, but let's be honest, he's probably more powerful than Captain America right now with his vibranium wings.
Oh, that was another thing I wanted to bring up too, because he's like, oh, I don't have superpowers. Yes, you do with those wings, essentially, in that new suit. Yes, you do.
And they made him just as accurate as Captain America. He's not throwing people around with punching and kicking, but he's still hitting people pretty strong
I
for a
mean,
normal
hey,
guy.
he was able to catch a flagpole, stop a flagpole from the Red Hulk. That should have
Yeah.
killed him.
I
don't care
that you got the jets in the back. Your arms are getting liquified.
Your Jets would not have been able to meet that as quickly as you would have thought.
It's
Like,
not even the
yeah,
Jets, it's
his
just-
arms would have just been. He would have just would have gone flying. He would have been in half.
Yeah, the flagpole would have cut him in half. He wouldn't have even been able to stop it.
Well, because is his suit vibranium? Because that also
I think so.
it is. Oh.
Well, I can't say for certain because
He got stabbed. Unless
Yeah,
he
he
did he
did get
change
stabbed.
his suit at the end? Did he change it?
That was another thing, because
I'm
he
trying
did
to
get stabbed
remember.
by that one guy, and I was like, how did he get stabbed?
I guess only the
Like
wings are
Gustavo?
vibranium.
No, it was when he fought that. Remember, he had Gustavo in that church or whatever, and then that big goon comes and fights him, and he stabbed him.
See, I was confused because when Rolk grabbed his helmet, that he couldn't squish his head. I remember Colin was saying, "Why don't you just squish his head?" And then
Oh yeah, then he does that. He picked up Sam, and then he was doing anything but squishing his tiny head because
ripping him in half.
yeah,
I
Yeah,
also
but
thought
the helmet was vibranium, so that's why I thought maybe the whole suit could have been.
I think it might
Yeah.
just be the wings because those are the only things that draw that kinetic energy that he could,
yeah.
use at people.
But going back to our main point of what was his struggle? Nothing. He's, basically perfect. He's stronger than Captain, not stronger, but he's got more
His
power
struggle
than
is
Captain America.
More
his struggle is he's a perfect person in an imperfect world. Is
Oh,
his struggle.
yeah.
But even Cap, he was perfect, but they did a better job of playing that against, he's fighting things he's not comfortable with. So how strong are his morals? Blah blah blah. That's the other thing
He was
too
like
with this
a
movie.
perfect man in his own time, and now he's out of time.
Yeah.
That was another thing. I was like, Bucky and at least Steve have we're we're in the wrong time period.
But
Wow.
even I think of Captain America because they're copying his name, and even the first Avenger, he was again basically perfect, but they just put him up against someone comically evil, so kind of you still rooted for him.
Well, that's why I don't like the angle of everyone's justified in their own way. Like Ross really doing it just to preserve his own life. Because essentially he's not at fault because what he's been taking, what he thought was
He was
preserving him,
poisoned. Yeah.
was essentially just turning him into a monster. So his mood swings weren't even really of his own. And then the leader, he got accidentally morphed into this abomination, and now he just wants revenge because Ross made him the fall guy. It's annoying that everyone's kind of justified. Why can't someone just be comically evil or just be evil for the sake of it? Not everyone has to be sympathetic.
Well, we've
Wait,
been saying that
take
for
that
such a
back.
long time.
You take that back, Daniel, because Sidewinder Gustavo was evil. He's always playing the bad guy. In case you didn't know that.
Good for him, staying true to that typecast.
Yeah,
Good
and
for
he was
him.
probably the best character in the movie.
I
He
wouldn't
just
even-
showed
I
up-
wouldn't even
best
say
actor.
that. He was just wasted.
He's the best actor. I mean, yeah, he's another character. A big name they pull in for these awful movies, and then they never bring him back. Maybe they'll bring him back in 20 years. They'll put him in a
Dude,
wheelchair.
That'd have been so funny if he just was in he had that short sleeve button shirt from Breaking Bad, just gunning people down.
Essentially, that's what he's playing. He's played Gus Fring in every single thing I've seen him in since Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Good for him. He's probably getting fat paychecks.
Oh, he probably is. They're just casting Gustavo. They're not even trying to cast the actor.
I made this joke to Craig when we were walking out of the theater, but I said to Craig, it'd been funny if they said to Harrison Ford, "So you're the Rolk now?
Part-time.
Part-time."
But I want to go back to Rolk because I know we were talking about his motivation, but it really is his movie. He's at the end of his life reflecting on his actions, torturing superheroes, making their lives miserable. And then now it's like, well, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. I guess they did bring me back to life after the snap, so I guess I can't hate on them anymore.
Yeah, and I guess we forgot to mention something that is kind of pivotal, that he asked Sam that he wants to create a new Avengers. And even Sam was like, whoa, this guy hunted us down. I was in a cell for God knows how many years because of this guy.
No, they were in the cell that long.
Well, whatever. Was it like 2 years he was in?
I think, remember in
Oh
the
no,
Civil War-
they broke out at the end of the
No, they
movie.
broke out at the end.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
yeah,
weren't.
okay.
They were
Well,
barely
they
in
were
the
still-
cell.
The
They were
political
still on the run
point,
for 2 years.
Yeah, the political point of putting someone in jail for being a superhero because of the Sokovia Accords. Now he wants to work with you and create a new Avengers. I kind of agree with Sam. Like, how can you trust this guy?
And this is a problem I've noticed with some of these more later MCU movies, how much character development happens off screen. Because I know he's played by a different actor, but we said before he feels like a completely different character. Like the bad guy we last saw in Civil War and
Infinity
War, completely different. He was pretty anti-superhero, which
Yeah.
makes sense. He was anti-Hulk in the comics.
Even in
to an
Infinity
extent
War.
anti-superhero. Yeah.
He commanded Rhodey to arrest them when not Captain America, when Iron Man was off the Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they just got invaded by
Yeah. Well, he said that line. He goes, "The world's on fire, and you expect all to be forgiven." Like he's still such a prick.
Yeah,
He-
so then
he's
all
an
of a
actual
sudden-
monster.
I like that character, and I think it would have been more interesting if that guy was the president. Now it's like he's really a monster. He has the political power now. We're finishing the Sokovia Accords. Screw you. Like,
So, did he ever become president in the comics?
no,
No.
no.
Okay.
He was always the military guy hunting down Hulk.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry for
Then,
asking.
then he became Red Hulk. I mean, maybe they were thinking about, because I know it's DC,
I think they
but
tried to turn him into a hero with Red Hulk, which is just bizarre.
like, yeah, I hate that comic stuff. Where they keep redoing the same character over and over again.
I'm curious if anyone genuinely likes Red Hulk as a character from the comics.
There's always some weirdo out there who likes that character. I just, like I said, I prefer the original Thunderbolt Ross. I think the way the dynamic was between
Yes, it was
Bruce,
great.
Betty, and him, hunting, the
Yeah.
love of his daughter. That's why they're
Well,
estranged.
Speaking of Betty, she makes a cameo, and she
Oh my
first makes a
God.
vocal cameo, and I thought that was going to be it for her, for Liv Tyler. I thought that was going to be it for her, but she shows up at the end, and I guess from a story and writing point of view, it makes sense. I guess you could say the arc, but it was really poorly done in the movie.
Yeah.
And
I think,
there just wasn't that emotional connection because Liv Tyler is acting with a stranger. It's not the same Ross, obviously
Well, it's also-
because he passed away.
yeah.
I'm not ignoring that, but still, it's just like it's not the same.
Well, there were no flashbacks to the relationship maybe before, the Incredible Hulk movie happened. And also, a part of my cynical mind was thinking when they had the phone conversation, I was thinking, maybe that's like some AI or some voice actor.
That wasn't really her.
Yeah, I was like, maybe they didn't want to bring
It was
her
an
back, but she's
impersonator.
like, no. Yeah.
Well, because it's like one, you haven't seen her since '08, right?
Yeah, she and
so-
the leader are the longest gaps between appearances.
Yeah, so it's not like she was an off-screen love interest for Hulk all those years. They severed that after the movie, so there's really no connection. It's not like off-screen he was hunting Hulk all these years. There was really no build-up for that emotional scene.
Yeah,
just like,
it's
what did you-
Mystique, and he's wearing Hawaiian t-shirts and She-Hulk.
Yeah, and he has a son with a receding hairline.
Well, I was thinking too. I went back and not rewatched, but I saw some stuff from the Incredible Hulk, and I think the last thing she says to him is like, "Never call me your daughter again. Like we're done, as our relationship is done." Which was a good scene in the movie, but who remembers that movie from that scene from almost 20 years ago?
Well, yeah, it's also, I mean, I guess history and years later people are reflecting on the Incredible Hulk better, but at the time, that was always considered the weakest of the MCU movies. And at the time, I mean like 10 years ago. It
Yeah,
was
look where we are
considered the
now.
weakest. Yeah. Even after, let's say, the Infinity Saga, that was always considered the weakest entry. Like that and Iron Man 2 and Thor 2 were considered like the worst. And when you look at the movies, they're not terrible, they're not bad, they're okay. That was the standard back then.
Yeah,
There's
those
no
those were
standard
considered
now.
bad, and now
Yeah.
look what we get now.
Yeah.
Perhaps we treated you too harshly.
Unironically.
Yeah, I wonder how much Liv Tyler made from her cameo. Probably just like a half a day's work.
They're probably like, "Hey, you want to reprise your role as Betty?" She's like, "Who?"
Here's $750,000.
Yeah, for a day's work. Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't?
Yeah.
But that's another thing I've noticed with these post Endgame movies. They clearly have no plan whatsoever. They can tell us they have a plan. Well, actions speak louder than words. Their actions have spoken loud and clear. They absolutely have no plan at all whatsoever.
Well, yeah, they have no plan. They don't know what they want, and they're indecisive because this comes down to, again, we talked about the CGI. Essentially, there's
Test
it's-
screenings, really.
yeah, bad CGI just comes down to artists not having enough time to work on what they need to work on. They have zero time. Things get changed last second. Essentially, Marvel is just the worst when it comes to managing VFX vendors and allowing people to have time to work on stuff. They're just the worst. It's a fact too. You look online, the VFX people probably they hate Marvel. They're terrible. And I don't know where I was going with that. I just wanted to say that.
Well, you're 100% correct
Oh!
on that, too.
No, with the no plan. So we definitely know they have no plan because originally Doctor Doom was never RDJ. That's like something they're making up on the spot. The Avengers movies were supposed to focus on Kang, the new ones. Now they completely changed that because of Jonathan Major's legal troubles. And yeah, the reshoots too are a sign that they have no plan because, I mean, I guess the I don't know how I feel about test screenings sometimes because I feel like they overreacted to the test screeners because you don't know how. What's the word I'm looking for? You don't know if they're viewing your movie in good faith. You really don't. They're just random people you select that you make them sign an NDA. That's all they are. So you don't know if they're in good faith judging the movie. Most of the time, maybe they are. But it seemed like what you told us about the behind the scenes and the stuff that they reshot, it seemed like the original cut was a lot better.
I mean, hard to say, but
Of course, we will never know because I don't think Marvel will ever release that footage. Like on a Blu-ray,
oh, never.
fun behind the scenes, deleted scenes. I'd genuinely be curious to see Marvel release on Disney Plus or on Blu-rays.
Like their original plans.
Yeah, like deleted scenes of stuff that they're trying to hide. I'm sure you will
Oh,
never
never.
see
No,
deleted
because
scenes
they'll also
of
ruin
like
the narrative.
Diamondback or whatever the other characters that they removed. The original ending with Ross. I'm sure they won't show any of that, but I'd be curious to see the assembly of the original cut.
Yeah. Well, I think you could see the leader's original design for this movie because didn't they release toys for it already?
Yeah, there were some of the, I saw a picture of a. I mean, granted, it's internet could be fake, but I'm going to shoot. In my mind, it's real. They had the original design for the leader with his more comic accurate look. I think he had a duster on or some jacket.
Well, it was practical originally too, the makeup. But now I think in the movie it's CGI. It's clearly CGI.
I think it was practical both times, but
Was
it
it?
doesn't matter.
It looked terrible in the new time.
Well, well, I don't know if it looked terrible. He looked grotesque, which I guess.
Well, I
was
think
the
the
Oh,
goal.
now
actor-
it looks terrible. Now it looks
The actor insisted on it being practical. I think originally they might have been going CGI for his original, but then the actor might have insisted on. I don't know, but I know the actor wanted to do practical, which
I don't know why he would subject himself to that.
or
If I
just
was-
maybe don't, or
if
just
I-
don't have the leader in this movie. Problem solved.
Well, if I was him working on a Marvel movie, I would be like, yeah, just do CGI. I don't want to sit in a makeup trailer all day. You kidding me? I don't want to do that.
If they just made honestly a focus on the Serpent Society and cut out Rolk and Leader, you'd have a much better film automatically. That's more along the lines of what Captain America's missions would be and stuff, and how he'd be utilized. You should not be fighting Red Hulk, and then you throw in Leader there with incredibly stupid plan.
I mean, quite honestly,
But-
one of the dumbest plans I've seen in a while, and that's not intentionally dumb either.
Cue the gif of Robert Downey Jr. Not a great plan. In the first Avengers movie.
So I wanted to go over most major projects post Endgame
Mhm.
and talk about unresolved plot threads.
Sure.
All right, Craig Cook.
Well, granted, real quick, Greg, don't want to steal the moment from you. Collectively, we have not seen all of the new Marvel movies post Endgame. I
Or
think
the
I've seen.
TV shows.
Yeah, I've seen the most out of
I
the
mean,
MCU movies out of
did
all
you,
of us.
Colin? Did you
Jesus.
see the Eternals?
I did. I've seen all of the movies except Black Panther 2 and the Marvels, but I've seen everything else.
You didn't see El Niño Sin Amor?
I did not see that, no. All right,
So-
Greg, start cooking.
First one, WandaVision.
Yes.
End of the show. White Vision is supposed to go and learn about himself. Never seen him again.
I
That
think
came
they
out in
are doing a
21.
TV show, though, called Vision Quest, I believe.
I mean, they've been saying they've been working on a Blade project too for years, and that's never come out.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's just a mess.
But
Keep
another
cooking.
thing too,
I'm going to
even
verify.
if there's stuff coming out, the fact that there's like huge gaps in between appearances. I remember we were talking about this, how in the first three phases, a character would only, with the exception of the Hulk because of rights issues, characters appeared regularly, like once every year or two, you'd see your favorite character again, main character. And now some characters you really have no idea if they're ever going to come back because they have zero plan at all whatsoever. What they're doing, what they're planning. So yeah, WandaVision was the first one. Second was Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which I guess they set up, all this stuff in this movie, which took 4 years to do. Congrats. Loki season 1, that was setting up Kang stuff, which is now going nowhere. Black Widow, it's setting up stuff from the Thunderbolts, so I guess it's going somewhere.
I think
Oh,
Vision
and-
Quest is supposed to come out next year, Craig.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
Also, in the Falcon Winter Soldier show, they had Sharon Carter, I think some Madripoor. Again, we would never see, like, she disappeared for a while, and we're never going to see her again. I guarantee that.
Probably not, yeah.
Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings. Apparently, so this is what I'm also confused by, because in that end credit scene, it looked like he was talking to the Avengers. I think he was talking to Miss Marvel and Bruce Banner.
This is in Shang-Chi?
Yeah, at the end credit scene.
I don't remember that. Granted, I
Well-
saw it in theaters almost 4 years ago, so I've only seen it
Well-
once.
Well, yeah, but also we haven't seen Shang-Chi since. He was talking to what I thought were the Avengers still around, but and talking about his rings and how like they talking to aliens or something.
Well,
God knows what
Shang-Chi
that.
also wasn't nearly a big hit as Marvel wanted it to be. It did okay, but it wasn't, that the big billion-dollar hit. I think it barely scrapped by 400 million total, and those movies cost a lot.
Oh
Keep
yeah,
cooking,
that
Craig.
too. Oh yeah, and Wong was there, but who cares? Next one was the Eternals, and we've heard that was always the joke too. People were joking about the Eternals. There's this giant hand coming out of the ocean. No one's ever once commented on until now, and I feel that the reason why they had the one of the battles be there is because people kept making that joke and they felt like they had to respond to it. I'm fairly confident. That's my leading theory
That was
because
another one I saw once, was the Eternals.
yeah, I think they went out into space and they're setting up Thanos' brother and Pip the Troll,
Oh, yes, yes.
and I think they set up Blade and the Black Knight as well. Never heard from them again, and never will. Hawkeye had Kate Bishop.
Uh-huh. Well, she's probably going to be if they do a new Avengers movie, I'm assuming, right?
You'd assume, but Young Avengers, I mean, she's gonna be like 30 by the time that movie comes out. I mean, you can't do Young Avengers anymore.
Young adult Avengers? Like
Can you call a
early
30-year-old a young
30s
adult?
Avengers?
Not middle-aged Avengers.
And Craig, just to confirm again, Vision Quest is going to start filming this year in March. It's going to debut next year on Disney Plus.
But again, 5 years since that happened. Again, no plan.
I think they have
And you can't
rough
blame COVID.
ideas of plans because they're just doing so much at once where they have so many plans. And I'm guessing they have to prioritize what they want to come out first. Because they had, I'm sure you're going to be talking about Agatha all along. So continue with unresolved plot threads in the
Spider-Man
MCU.
No Way Home.
Yeah.
Apparently Venom, the goo, is supposed to be in our
Yes,
universe.
it's in the MCU, yes.
But again, we haven't seen that yet. Moon Knight, I don't honestly remember off the top of my head what happened with Moon Knight, but again, a character we haven't seen since his one season. Doctor Strange too. He apparently now has a third eye, and
Yes.
he's helping Clea fight Dormammu in the Dark Dimension. Never, and I guess the Scarlet Witch is probably still alive, but we haven't seen anything from them since.
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Marvel season 1, I guess that is a payoff because she appeared in the Marvel, so congrats, you didn't strike out every time.
Check mark there, yep.
Thor: Love and Thunder. Apparently, Hercules is coming.
Oh, yes, because Zeus
Oh,
was
yeah.
talking to him, yeah.
She-Hulk show. I think they want to have her in more stuff, but I think they've cut her out of everything because she was to appear in Deadpool and Wolverine.
I don't know if that's true or not, but
I mean, I think with how poorly received that was, I think that's donezo. I know there's a show called I Am Groot, but I don't think it's meant to be anything serious.
yeah, it's probably
Werewolf by Night, I think that
kids.
was a one, it's a limited series. That's not supposed to be anything major, so that's okay. Not playing a larger role.
Yeah.
Black Panther 2, you set up again Namor.
And they also set up Ironheart.
Yeah, her show I think is coming out.
She has
but
a show?
I think they cancel. We'll get to that because I don't remember stuff off the top of my head. So that was Phase 4.
Yes.
Nothing from Phase 4 has really developed into Phase 5 or 6. So again, really hitting strong with these movies.
So we're in
Into
phase 5 now? Okay,
Yeah, now we're in Phase
continue.
5. Ant-Man 3.
Yep.
Now setting up Kang, which is now dead. Because I remember,
Yes.
I think the end credit scene was Scott having an existential crisis about threats coming, and then he just kind of brushes it off because he's too stupid.
Yeah.
Guardians 3, again, there really wasn't anything. It's just, okay, the Guardians will continue, and,
Yeah,
characters
that was
are
like
taking
a
different paths.
conclusion of
It's like an epilogue, really. So
Guardians,
that to me, again, they didn't really strike out there. Secret Invasion Season 1,
which was a disaster, I heard.
I don't remember what the end credit scene was on, but really nothing mattered.
Well, it did honestly retcon a lot of things because what was it? Rhodey was replaced before Civil War, and from Civil War on, he was a Skrull. So that Rhodey that saw
Yeah.
Tony die was a Skrull crying
Yeah.
for Tony. So poor Rhodey didn't even see his best friend die.
That's why I don't like the Secret Invasion
How
storyline.
messed up is that?
Yeah, that's why that storyline, it's never going to work out well because of stuff like this. You can't really. It's not a bad story. It's more for a TV show for a big cinematic universe. You're going to get problems like that. And then Maria Hill died, I think, in the first episode. In some horror, they just killed her off like that. It was a horrible show.
Maybe Marvel down the road will just pretend like Secret Invasion didn't happen.
Oh, probably. I
Not
mean,
like what they're
I
doing
think
for
in the
Kang.
Marvels that happened.
Say again?
I think in the Marvels, I don't think I think they pretended the Secret Invasion didn't happen because Nick
Really?
Fury was back to being his old self again.
Wow.
From what I remember. Yeah, but that show was a complete disaster. Then you had Loki season 2, which again leading into the multiverse stuff, which looks like there's no payoff. I mean, I guess they had the TVA, which was in Deadpool and Wolverine, but I don't really think that counts. The Marvels, this was another big one because they had Beast appear and
Hmm.
Monica Rambeau is trapped in the X-Men universe. We'll probably never see that again. Never mentioned. Probably never see that again.
Hmm.
What If doesn't count. Echo, another character. She was a spin-off character from the Hawkeye TV show. Again, we'll probably never hear from her again. Deadpool and Wolverine.
That didn't really affect anything.
Yeah, and that was more of a send-off to the Fox movie, so that doesn't really count in my opinion. Agatha All Along. I know nothing about that show except it was terrible.
Did anyone really watch that? It got
No.
canceled season 2, so
Yeah, I don't know why they even greenlighted
So-
the first.
this is not going to be about Agatha all along, but what made them think to do a TV show on Agatha and not immediately follow WandaVision with Vision?
See, you're thinking logically here. Agatha, she dies at the end of WandaVision, and
She's like a witch, right?
yeah, whatever. And I'm trying to remember what happened. Yeah, she died, and I think she was popular because I think she was like a side character, and then they realized she was the big bad all along. People were like, oh, that was kind of fun. Like, yeah, it was fun, but doesn't mean you have to give her a TV show.
Yeah, that has 9 episodes.
Yeah, it's just again something that's never going to appear again. I don't think we'll ever hear from her again. Another character that's basically gone. And now we get to Brave New World, which we'll probably never see the leader again. We'll probably never see Thunderbolt Ross again, assuming I don't think they want to recast him a second time.
Yeah, Harrison Ford is a 82-year-old man right now.
And the next projects on the road are Daredevil, Daredevil Born Again, which is again a revival of the Netflix show, which everyone loves. So it's probably going to be a disappointment. The Thunderbolts, which is going to guess be a payoff to all the Elaine cameos.
Yelena?
No,
Oh,
no,
Elaine.
from
Elaine.
The
Yeah,
Office.
yeah. She's
Not
in
The
that movie.
Office, Seinfeld.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
Ironheart is coming out this year, which will probably be another train wreck. And Phase 6 starts off with the Fantastic Four.
Right.
So all these unresolved plot threads that are never going to come back. I don't think we'll ever see Namor again. Maybe 10 years we'll see Namor again. We're never going to see Hercules.
It's pronounced Namor.
We're never
Yes.
going to see Kang again.
We're never going to see the Eternals. We'll probably never. Maybe we'll probably could see Shang-Chi, but we're never going to see Clea.
He'll probably be in the Avengers, I guess.
If you go on Twitter, Craig, you could see Shang-Chi. He's active there.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's because if you look at again the post-credit scenes for the first 3 phases, they at least led to something. Not everyone was a home run. I mean, I saw people arguing today that the cameo at the end of Iron Man 1 was kind of pointless, like the one for Brave New World. I'm like, are you really comparing Nick Fury's kind of introducing the idea of the Avengers to leader basically saying something we already know that they're leading to the multiverse nonsense?
Well, that's what the past, really, yeah, since Phase 4, they've been trying to build up the multiverse, and it's just been nothing but a disaster. It's been terrible. It's been poorly done.
And
I
again,
think at the end of the first Iron Man, that was a shock to people. Like, wow,
that was a shock,
Nick
and
Fury?
it was
Wow.
not just that, but the idea that they're going to build up to an Avengers
Yeah.
movie. That was game changing at the time compared to now. We already know we're getting multiverse crap, and no one cares.
Yeah.
The box office says no one really cares anymore.
Cinematic universe of that level at that time really was groundbreaking.
Yeah, and most of the post credit scenes too. Okay, Hulk, you had Iron Man talk about kind of recruiting, which really didn't lead anywhere, but they were still new at the time.
Iron Man 2, they teased Thor. With
Yeah,
the
like-
scene from New Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of teasing the upcoming movie. So that was, and then they kind of got into was the first Avengers that Thanos was coming, and he did come. So it wasn't unresolved plot threads. They did show that he was coming.
What was the
His motive was a little
what was-
different, but yeah.
What
he
was the
still
end
showed
credit
up.
scene for the first Cap movie?
It was a trailer for the Avengers.
Yeah, right. Because that scene where he escapes doesn't count.
Yeah, that was at the end of the movie, but then I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's like Captain America will return, then it showed a trailer for the Avengers.
I think so. Yeah.
It is mind blowing that they must have shot the Avengers in like early 2011. Looked like they had most of the movie made already.
Because I know
They
that
showed a lot of footage.
Yeah. 'Cause I know every
Yeah, 'cause
post-credit
at-
scene was a home run.
Because at the end of the first Thor movie, it was Nick Fury showing Cube came back. It was with Selvig,
Yeah,
Yeah, he
sure.
was controlling. Loki was
and,
controlling.
and yeah, Loki was there.
But again,
it's
it was-
so sad seeing what Marvel has become.
Or the was that the end of Age of Ultron when Thanos with the gauntlet
Oh
finally?
yeah.
Yeah, but at least the first one, that was the like, wow, we're getting big bad Thanos.
Yeah, and also cameos actually meant something because what was it? The first Guardians when they actually revealed when they fully revealed him, and then at the end of the first Avengers when they showed Thanos.
But to my point too is that for fully showing Thanos and Guardians and the first Avengers movie, that was 2 years. You have to wait 5 years to like, is this guy ever gonna
Yeah.
come back again?
Yeah, they were consistently putting him in there. It's not like, oh, this guy was. I forgot this guy was in the MCU.
Yeah, you never forgot about Thanos.
Is there plans for another Shang-Chi, or is there
I don't
talks of
know.
it?
I don't
They
know.
always say there's plans for a sequel. I think part of it is to keep up interest and probably for stock meetings, keep the stock up. But at the end of the day, we don't really know.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe I don't know. It's
I mean, the fact
been
it's taken this long.
yeah.
My only
It-
guess if they ever were to make a sequel is if he's received well again and whatever
Maybe an
Avengers,
Avengers
whatever
movie.
5, 6, whatever. If he's received well, then maybe they'll get a sequel, but probably not.
Avengers Doomsday. Then they're gonna do Secret Wars. Well, it's just disappointing talking about all this Marvel stuff. But do we have any other final thoughts for Captain America: Brave New World?
I did have one final thought, which I forgot to
Yes.
mention before.
Yes.
This is going back to why we don't like Cap or the Falcon.
Yes.
The way Steve treated his people, he treated them more like equals. He didn't kind of talk down to them like, I've got to train you, you're not up for the job. It felt more respectful, like he treated people right. Falcon is obviously not like that. He's talking down to his sidekick. It's like, oh yeah, you're not ready for this. I have to show you the move. It's like
Well, I think
it,
he's all right. To be fair, I think he was doing it like in a friendly way.
it was, but I know it kind of rubs me the wrong way because he's trying to act like he's this, veteran superhero when he's just gifted all this stuff. I mean, he's got no powers. Who's he to talk down to people?
All right, Craig. Where did Falcon touch you? Jeez.
Well, it's guy who has he has no powers. And then he's given everything just like the other Falcon, and he's like talking down to him.
Yeah.
Like you were in the same position as this guy, some former military guy given a chance, and you were lucky that people were nice enough to give you high tech stuff, and you're being mean to this guy.
Yeah. I agree. But with in regards to Captain America: Brave New World, see it at your own discretion. It's not good. It's not bad. It's in the middle. I guess it's still a little disappointing because anything that Marvel churns out these days is disappointing. So yeah, Craig, final thoughts. Daniel, final thoughts.
Like I said, 4 out of 10. Not
4 out of 10.
not the
Okay.
worst thing, but not
Yeah,
good either.
I agree with the 4 out of 10.
Yeah.
It's not real. It's not like offensive. It's just there.
Yeah.
It's
If
not
you want
Thor
to see
4.
a shirtless Harrison Ford again at 82 years old, this movie's for you. Forgot to mention that he was shirtless at the end. And I said to Craig, like, they're not really going to show him shirtless, are they? Oh, God, they did.
How come his pants stay the same size?
That's very true. So, I guess those are our final thoughts. With all of that being said,
Uh,
this has been the Unbiased Opinion, where everyone's opinion is biased except ours. I am Colin.
I'm Craig.
Mm-hmm.
and I'm Daniel.
Mm-hmm. And we will see you next time.